So it will interest you guys to know that the cell cycle, we have different types of cells in the cell cycle. All right, we have cells that are continuously dividing, which are called the Labile cells. We have cells that have completely left the cell cycle and nothing will bring them back, which are called the permanent cells. Then we have cells that will just left the cell cycle temporary, and if they are stimulated rightly, they'll be tempted to come back into division. That's the cells that we call the quiescent cells or the stable cells. Okay, so that's basically what cell types of the body classification, which is based on proliferative activity. Okay, how active is the cell? Right, let's look at this. We said that cells of the body, now so that tissues of the body or cells of the body are divided into three groups on the basis of what? Proliferative activity, on the basis of how active they are. Right, so we have the Labile cells. This is a simple lecture. We have the Labile cells. These ones are what? Continuously dividing. They divide throughout life. Okay, so the Labile cells are under continuous active division, and they replace the cells that are lost from the body. Okay, so examples of Labile cells include the epithelial of ducts, the hematopoietic stem cells, and the epidermis. All right, so injury to Labile cells is rapidly repaired because you have what? Continuous division. Okay, so this is a quiescent cell. Quiescent cell is basically like a stable cell. All right, it's out of the cell cycle. It's quiet. It is enjoying its holiday, right? But if there's a stimulus like, hey, come back to work, it goes back to work. Okay, so moving. There are quiescent cells now or stable cells. Quiescent cells are cells that are in a dormant or inactive state, right? It is a stable cell or quiescent cell. It's dormant, right? It's in a G naught. But if there's stimulation, it will go back to the cell cycle. Okay, you have the permanent cells. These ones are permanently left the cell cycle. My image is blocking it. Permanent cells, they have completely left the cell cycle. All right. So permanent cells, examples of these quiescent cells include what? Hepatocyte. Permanent cells are defined as cells that are unable to replicate in postnatal life. Okay. Nervous cells, often termed neurons, together with skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles, are included in this group. Okay, which traditionally would identify human tissues that are incapable of what? Spontaneous regeneration. So these cells, these ones, have completely left the cell cycle, right? And nothing will make them divide again, all right? They've completely left the cell cycle. No stimulus will make them come back to the duty. Okay, so these are basically what the cell types of the body, and this classification is based on what? Proliferative activity. All right, so that's it, guys, and bye for now.